Welcome to Lunch with the Lord. I'm Pastor Mark, and we are in Mark chapter 1, and we're going to be looking at verse 29 this lesson. But before we begin, Jeremiah 15:16, Thy words were found, and I did eat them, and thy word was unto me the joy and rejoicing of my heart. Now, as we begin here in verse 29. Let me read verse 29. It says, And forthwith, when they were come out of the synagogue, they entered into the house of Simon and Andrew with James and John. Now, they just finished casting out this demon out of this man. The people who were there were astonished. They saw that Jesus' doctrines, his teachings were not like the scribes and the Pharisees, but that he spoke and he backed up his word with demonstration of power and authority by casting out this demon. Now, in verses 29 through 34, Jesus has authority over sicknesses. In the previous verses, Jesus had authority over the demon spirits. Now, we're going to see in these verses from 29 to 34, Jesus has authority over sicknesses and diseases. So, in verse 29, it says here, And forthwith when they were come out of the synagogue, and this is the same day. This is the same day as we see in verse 21, it says, And they went into Capernaum, and immediately on the Sabbath day they entered into the synagogue and taught. So this is the same day. It's just later on in that day. So Jesus heals in verses 29 through 31. Jesus is healing Peter's mother-in-law. Now, verse 29 and verse 30 here it says, But Simon's mother-in-law lay sick with a fever, and anon they tell him about her. And he came, and he took her by the hand and lifted her up, and immediately the fever left her, and she ministered unto them. Now, Jesus not only healed Peter's mother-in-law, but there was no need for rehabilitation. In Luke's account, Luke chapter 4, verses 38 and 39, the actual Greek words that are used in Luke describe her as having a sickness for an extended time. Her sickness was for a while. It wasn't like she just got sick, 2 days ago and now she's sick. No, it seems like her sickness was an extended period of time, and that she was actually close to death. All it took was a word of rebuke from Jesus in Luke chapter 4, verse 39, and the full, complete healing and restoration took place. How long? In an instant. Let's read Luke 4, verses 38 and 39, and it says, And he rose out of the synagogue and entered into Simon's house, and Simon's wife's mother was taken with a great fever, and they besought him for her. And he stood over her and rebuked the fever, and the fever left her, and immediately she arose and ministered unto them. There was no need for rehabilitation, no period for, getting better and getting acclimated to life again. No, she was healed and it was done and over with. And now she just got right up and she began to minister unto them. Now, verse 32, and at evening, again, when the sun did set, they brought unto him all that were diseased and them that were possessed with devils. So it says here, at evening when the sun did set. Now, again, this was the evening after the Sabbath day of verse 21, same day. Now listen, This is interesting, and I didn't realize this until I studied it. But when you read this, you don't think about these things because you don't know. You're not haven't studied like the Jewish thought. But why did they bring them to Jesus at Peter's house in the evening? It says here, verse 32. And at evening, when the sun did set, it was important. It was in the evening after the sun set that they brought to Jesus all that were diseased and them that were possessed with devils. Why did they wait until the sun set? Why didn't they bring him to Jesus, when he was at the house? Well, because it was against the laws of the Sabbath to carry any burden on the Sabbath day. They waited until the sun went down and the Sabbath was officially over. Remember, the Sabbath day began when the sun came up, and when the sun went down, it was over. So once the sun went down, the Sabbath was over. Then they brought them to Peter's house. So they brought them in the time after the sun set. So it was evening now, dark time. Luke chapter 13. Let's read Luke chapter 13 and verse 14. Luke chapter 13 and verse 14. It says, "And the ruler of the synagogue answered with indignation, because that Jesus had healed on the Sabbath day. And he said unto the people, There are 6 days in which men ought to work. In them, therefore, come and be healed, but not on the Sabbath day." See, it was not right. It was not right to heal on the Sabbath day. This is what they believed, how they interpreted the law. So they said, look, you got 6 days. You can bring your sick to Jesus and have him heal him then. Don't bring him on the Sabbath day. Well, here in our context today, this is what they did. They didn't want to disobey the law, the Sabbath, so they brought him in the evening after the sun set down. Verse 33. "And all the city was gathered together at the door." Jesus' fame spread quickly in Capernaum on that Sabbath day. On that Sabbath day, you can be sure they went out and they told people, and they were bringing sick people to Jesus. I mean, Jesus just healed, just delivered a man from a demon spirit. And hey, if he's got this kind of power, he can heal. I'm going to see if he's going to be able to heal this, my mother, my brother, my sister, whatever, myself. I'm going to see if he can heal me. So they began coming, right? Verse 34, "And he healed many that were sick of divers diseases, and he cast out many devils." And again, what did he say? He cast out many devils and suffered not the devils to speak. Why? Because they knew him. You may say, well, Jesus, why would you not want the devils to speak about you if they knew you? I mean, they could give testimony of who you are, right? Again, Jesus would not allow the demons to give testimony of his person, of his character, because he didn't want his character and his ministry to be based on what the demons said about him. He didn't want the people that were coming to him from all around Capernaum and all around Galilee coming that night and getting healed. He didn't want them to believe on him based upon what demons said. But he wanted them to believe on him for who he was, for what they saw, not for what a demon spoke. Why? Because demons are untrustworthy. You can't trust demon spirits because they come from a kingdom which is based upon lies. Satan is the father of lies. He's a deceiver. He's the master deceiver. So, I mean, if Jesus cast a demon out of a person, that demon said, "Thou art the Son of God." Jesus didn't say, "Hey, see that? See what that demon said? You listen to him. He's right. He's right, right?" No, there's none of that. Jesus didn't, tell the people to listen to that demon. When he comes out, you listen to what he says. I am who he said I am. No, there's no based upon what any kind of demon would say. Jesus is not going to base his ministry upon what demons say. But Jesus again, in these verses from 29 to 34, Jesus exercises his authority over sicknesses and diseases also. And again, also over demons. So we're going to continue on. We're going to get into verse 35 here. Verse 35, where Jesus begins to pray. All right? But until then, walk with the Lord. I know he walks with you.